Hello, my name is Jack. Welcome back to my vault. July 8th, 1947. The United States military issues an official press release. They have recovered a flying disc near Roswell, New Mexico. Headlines around the world. Then, within 24 hours, a second statement. It was a weather balloon. Nothing to see. The base that issued that statement was home to the only unit on Earth capable of delivering a nuclear weapon. These were not amateurs who confused a weather balloon for a flying disc. Something landed near Roswell in July 1947. What it was, nobody in power has ever fully answered. This is the Roswell Incident, and the vault is now open. June 14, 1947. Rancher Mac Brazel finds debris on the Foster Ranch, scattered across hundreds of yards. Rubber, foil, sticks. He thinks nothing of it. 3 weeks later, he hears radio reports about flying saucers. He goes back, takes samples, tells the sheriff. The sheriff calls the Roswell Army Airfield. Major Jesse Marcel, the base intelligence officer, spends 2 days collecting debris. He brings it back. The base commander looks at the material, then does something unexpected. He orders a public press release, not a classified memo, a public statement. July 8th, 1947. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. That headline is in the National Archives. Front page, worldwide. Then, less than 24 hours later, General Ramey calls a press conference. Weather balloon, case closed. He poses for photographs, and the story dies. For 30 years, Jesse Marcel said nothing. For 30 years. Then, in 1978, he gave an interview. He described material that could not be burned, metal that returned to its shape when crumpled, beams with symbols he had never seen before. He said it was not of this earth. The base mortician, Glenn Dennis, stated that the base hospital had called his funeral home asking about small, child-sized coffins. A nurse there told him about autopsies, bodies that were not human. Then in 1991, Brigadier General Thomas DuBose, the man who posed with the weather balloon in those 1947 photographs, gave a sworn statement. The weather balloon explanation was a cover story. His words, to divert attention from the truth. Walter Haut wrote the original 1947 press release. He spent the rest of his life saying very little. Before he died in 2005, he signed a sealed affidavit. Instructions do not open until after my death. It was opened in 2007. He had personally seen the recovered craft and the bodies. The man who first wrote the words flying disc at the end of his life put it in writing. Then there is the photograph. July 8th, 1947. General Ramey holds a document while weather balloon debris is spread on the floor. Researchers using high-resolution imaging claim to have partially read it. One phrase, victims of the wreck, not wreckage, victims. The Air Force has never officially addressed what is written in that document. In 1994, the Air Force released their explanation. Project Mogul, a top-secret balloon program monitoring Soviet nuclear tests. It may be true, the program was real, but the witnesses described metal that reformed itself when crumpled, material that could not be cut or burned, symbols on beams. None of that is a balloon. 97, a second report. The alien bodies, they were crash test dummies, dropped in parachute tests. One problem, that program did not begin until 1953, 6 years after Roswell. The Air Force was asking the public to believe that witnesses in 1947 confused events with things that had not yet happened. Then, in September 2025, a 22-minute black-and-white film titled The Roswell Incident was quietly uploaded to the National Archives website. Crash site. Debris. Shapes. Researchers say they are not consistent with balloon equipment. Nobody from the archives has explained why it was uploaded or when it was filmed. July 2023. Former intelligence officer David Grush testifies before Congress. Under oath, he states the U.S. government has been recovering and reverse engineering non-human craft for decades. He states non-human biologics have been recovered. He names Roswell. He held a top-level security clearance. He worked directly with the UAP task force inside the Pentagon, under oath, before Congress. And in June 2026, Steven Spielberg releases Disclosure Day, a film about the moment a government reveals it has known about non-human intelligence since 1947. The trailer was viewed 2.5 million times in 24 hours. Something is shifting. Whether Roswell was a balloon or something else, the military called it a flying disc, then said it was not. Then their own officers spent the rest of their lives saying it was. Mac Brazel died in 1963. Never spoke publicly again after the military told him to stay quiet. Jesse Marcel died in 1986. Stood by his testimony until the end. Walter Haut died in 2005. His sealed affidavit sits in the Roswell UFO Museum in New Mexico. Thomas DuBose, the general who called it a cover story, died in 1992. All of them gone, but the documents remain. The 1947 newspaper is there. The FBI teletype from July 8th is there. The Ramey photograph is there. Somewhere, in a facility we do not have access to. The answer may be there too. A press release was issued, then retracted. Officers swore it was real, then stayed silent. Then at the end of their lives, told the truth, or what they believed was the truth. The vault for the Roswell incident is now locked, but the next secret is already waiting. Subscribe to enter the vault. My name is Jack. Keep your eyes open.